Hey everybody, it's been quite some time. Sorry I haven't been posting too much lately. I've been in the throes of school. I've been really fighting this, and I almost have my master's degree. All I have to do is do a presentation, and I'm good to go, and I cannot wait to be officially over with it, and also just excited to have a little bit more time to focus on film. I also have some other news coming up very soon that I'll get and talk to you about maybe a little bit later. But I'm here today to talk to you about a little film that I watched actually about a week or two ago called Gemini. In fact, there's a few films that I've seen, but I really haven't had time, nor have I really thought about really doing a review for. That is like A Quiet Place or Isle of Dogs. And also, I feel like there's a plethora of people already on the internet just talking about these films. So I just wanted to give you maybe my take on a film that is lesser known, but people kind of know about it. So Gemini. Let's talk about the newest film directed by Aaron Katz. So this movie is starring Lola Kirke as Jill, this assistant, and we also have Zoe Kravitz, who's Heather Anderson's, who's this really big Hollywood star. She's the assistant of Heather, and they are best friends, but also a lot of really weird things between them. It's kind of just already there's a weird connection between the two. And we also have Detective On, played by John Cho. Which, speaking of John Cho, I really need to see Columbus. I've heard so many good things, and I can't wait to watch that movie. So what is this film called Gemini, directed by Aaron Katz? It's really hard to describe, but also at the same time, a pretty basic kind of premise to set it all up. So this film kind of starts out with, like I said, Jill and Heather are really good friends. Jill is the assistant of Heather, kind of just making everything really easy for her, trying to get out of some dealings with some Hollywood. Heather really doesn't want to be in the limelight anymore, and something's going on. She can tell that she's not really comfortable with some things going on with some of her friends that Jill doesn't really know about, and there's this weird tone about it all. So Heather asks Jill if she could borrow her gun that she knows that she has, and from there she takes it, and then they stay over one night. What happens after that is that Jill leaves to go do an errand, comes back, and finds Heather dead with the gun. And we don't really know what the hell happened, and neither does Detective On, played by John Cho, but he has a sneaking suspicion. That's how this movie starts and unfolds, and you meet several characters prior to this event and a little bit afterwards about people who love and hate Heather, and you're really trying to figure out what's going on, what happened here, what is this big deal, what's behind this murder. So that's the plot. I'm going to give you as much as possible. I don't really want to spoil it, but let me tell you some of the pros and some of the cons as well. So the pros is I thought this movie was shot very well. I really loved the very clean cut, stylized kind of cinematography, LA, kind of in a 90s neo-noir kind of version. And I really liked some of the shots that were taken. There were some really great, beautiful aerial shots on the Hollywood Hills, and kind of just seeing that on top of just, I don't know what the shot's called exactly, but you know, kind of you're looking up at an angle, looking at the palm trees, and you're also looking at several close-ups and also really great wide shots as well. I really enjoyed the cinematography a lot. I even enjoyed the soundtrack for the most part, save the very beginning and end, where there's this thing going on that I feel like every movie has been doing this, and I also just feel like most of the modern hip hop that I've heard on, at least when I'm driving, has that like hi-hat worship. I don't get it. But anyway, that's on a tangent. So let's talk a little bit more about Gemini. So I really enjoyed the soundtrack, and I also enjoyed the characters. However, where the first con comes in, actually some of the characters I really didn't care too much about any of the people in this movie. And that's the thing. I think that's what this movie suffers from a little bit, is it doesn't really have any characters to latch on to. You really don't care about some of the things, and you actually even question some of the things that Jill does, and you're like, wait, why would you do that? You could easily get out of the situation if you do this or that, or, you know, cooperate or do something. It's very strange, and so I liked the characters in here, but it wasn't compelling enough for me to care about the story overall too much. It was a decent murder mystery neo-noir, and I really enjoyed it overall. But I would say I would give this movie a 3 out of 5. It's definitely worth seeing at least once. It's really visually a great movie. I like the soundtrack. I even like the characters, but some of the characters just don't cut it out for me. And you know, I'm more about character-driven stories than it is a story driven by the characters. So I want to hear your thoughts on Gemini down below. I know this is kind of a brief return to form. I didn't really want to discuss too much because I'm pretty busy right now with everything going on with school and life. But I hope that you're still with me, and I want to thank you so much for checking out this review of Gemini. And I want to hear your thoughts down below on the film. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to comment below, and also subscribe. And I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.